ripping it. Just climbing its way up this hill. Hello and welcome back to the Kyle Connor YouTube channel. This is the Bronco Sport. It is the first edition. It has the 2-liter 4-cylinder engine basically out of a Focus ST. It is all-wheel drive, of course. It can tow. It's painted in the best color ever. It's something cactus gray, something like this. Anyway, let's jump in because it's raining out here, and we'll take it for a cruise down one of my favorite roads and talk about the Bronco Sport. Now, everything that could have been done with this car, everyone else kind of already has done. So, X5 with lights in the grills, that's interesting. Anyway, let's put it in drive. We have traction control off. We have it in sport mode. There's these GOAT modes, which is go over any terrain or any type of terrain. Sometimes it has 2T, sometimes it has 1, I don't know. But you have like all these different modes for stuff. This one, we'll just put it in sport mode. Now, I realize this isn't a performance vehicle. Also, this particular one does not have a price tag because it's a pre-production model. But yeah, 4x4, 8-speed auto, 2-liter, all the good stuff. It's got, yeah, weird options. We'll talk about it as we drive. But we want to start with a launch. So let's come here to start. And left foot on the brake, flooring it with the right, and off we go. Launch is hard. Yeah, this thing really freaking moves. Not slow. I would say punchy is the term. Runs out at the top end. Has no... doesn't have legs, but down low torque is awesome. So let's put it in manual mode, which isn't really manual mode, because watch, 6th gear, watch what happens when I floor it. It says right there is the number, it's small. 6, downshifts to 4. But I've selected manual and traction controls off. So I'm telling the car I'm in expert mode. Why does it feel the need to change gear for me? I don't know. That's annoying off the bat. Early upshift, ride that torque curve. It's a rainy day up here, so we want to be managing our speed, of course. Cold and rainy, 44 degrees. This one's on some Falcon all-terrain tires, which are probably good in the dirt and mud, not so much for this type of driving. I think we should detour on a dirt road, though, and just see how it does. So at the top of this hill, we can do that. Watch this, though. I just want you to see my biggest annoyance right off the bat, which is its turbo lag. 3,000 RPM, pretty good. Floor it. Oh, well, it downshifted there. That's why is it always downshift? But the lag is insane. You put your foot down and nothing happens for a solid 1 Mississippi 2, and then boom, it comes on boost really hard. So, you know, part of that is because we're at altitude, of course. You know, you got to, you know, give it that. We're at 5,000. Well, up here, we're at almost 8,000 feet of elevation. Let's take it down a dirt road, and let's put it in one of the dirt road terrain things. So, let's see. That's slippery, sport, eco, mud ruts, sand, and rock crawl. I think mud ruts. Then we'll turn all the traction controlled off. Hold on, I gotta hold it for advanced track off though. Alright, so traction controls off. Advanced track's off. It's got us in locked in 4-wheel drive. That's good. So center diff, I guess, is locked. Yeah, now it's equal front to rear power. Ripping it. Just climbing its way up this hill. Yeah, I would say once the engine comes on tap, it does not need any more power. I mean, this thing freaking moves already. Going past the sketchy gate. Power out. There's the lag. Come on. It just takes forever. Buddy. It's like a rally course. Man, but do I love the size of this car. It's the perfect size vehicle. You know, everyone's going to give it crap because it's not the full Bronco. It's not the big burly one. I get it, all right? I understand everyone wants the full Bronco, and honestly, they should have started with the full Bronco first, because everyone I've asked about this car thinks this is the Bronco. Well, no, this isn't the Bronco. This is the Bronco Sport, which is the baby one. It's like a Jeep Renegade or something like this. It's not the JL Wrangler competitor. That's coming. I can't wait for that. It's going to be badass based off of everything we've seen. However, this one is like just a more off-roady, more capable Ford Escape. That looks really cool. Let's hit a mud puddle, shall we? Here we go. Mud puddle. Freaking awesome. And we'll go up to the top here, which is all the towers. So this is the kind of driving that this vehicle is made to accomplish. Basically soft roading, muddy roads, snowy roads, maybe a little bit of wheeling here or there, but nothing major. We're not like, I mean, you can take this to Moab, but that's not really its main intention. It needs to be a pretty good daily driver. Here we are at the radio towers at the top of the hill. This is always a cool spot. It kind of freaks me out sometimes. It gets all weird. You hear all this electrical noises, and it's like, all right, when you're the only one up here, it's like, when are the aliens gonna come? Good turning radius for its size. Man, a little slippery. I can feel it digging into the mud. You can see the camera coming on there. Braking performance seems good. I really like all of these different drive modes that it has. We'll talk about the technology in a bit. Let's get back to the vehicle itself. It's the small Bronco, more or less. It's part of the Bronco family, as the Mustang Mach-E is now part of the Mustang family. I get where Ford's going with this. And I love sitting in this car because look at the view out. It's like a Range Rover. You just get this flat, expansive hood. Mud puddle. You just get this expansive hood that makes it feel so off-roady. It gives a Hummer, a G-Wagon vibe. This is sort of what off-roaders do in most parts, is just to give someone the impression that they can go anywhere. You know, most Range Rovers aren't ever going to see dirt or mud or Moab and go rock crawling, but people want to feel like they can go places. That's part of the appeal of these cars. It could be a status thing, sure, but some of that status is just knowing you can drive to the top of that peak there. And this car definitely gives you that impression. This view out the front is cool, and all these off-roady stuff makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're going to make it to your destination, with a whole new resurgence of car enthusiasm, not so much for sports cars and numbers on paper, but with this resurgence of people wanting to go off the beaten path and overlanding and exploring. That's what this vehicle is perfect for. And I tried telling a friend this recently too, and you know, exploring doesn't mean going where no one's ever been. It's more or less just going where you haven't been before. So this vehicle can take you places that most people haven't been able to get to in like a normal Ford Escape or something like this. This is pretty capable. It's also firm on these bumps, I will say, but on the big stuff, it does a pretty good job of all this mud, of soaking up the bumps. So let's take it out of all of the off-roady stuff. So I guess we can lock the diff if we wanted to. Can we do that in sport mode? So I'm rotating this knob, which to me is, once the screen comes on, intuitive, but when I think I want to go left, I would rotate it left, and that's not correct. So sport mode, can we lock the diff? Nope, rear diff not able to be locked in sport mode. That's fine. Let's put it in park really quick and turn everything off. Advanced track off. Great tech, great driver assistance, all that good stuff. Boom. Awesome. Let's rock and roll. This particular one, by the way, when I mention driver assistance, I mean like off-road driver assistance. This one doesn't have adaptive cruise control or anything like that. Put it in manual mode. Yeah, just to keep the revs up a little bit higher. The gear spacing between 2 and 3 is 0. I swear they're the same gear. Watch this. I'll upshift into third. Tell me if you see a difference. That was the upshift. I'll downshift. It's literally 100 RPM difference. Why? It just feels like the transmission's slipping. It doesn't even have time to get into the next gear. It must have something to do with 0 to 60, but I was recently driving the Chevy Blazer and Trailblazer, kind of one up and one size down to this car. And both of those cars have a 9-speed auto. This is an 8-speed, and had the same 2-3 gear spacing thing. Kind of everyone in this segment's doing it. Can't figure out why. Sounds pretty good. So in sport mode, it pipes in fake car noises into the cabin, and quite a lot of them. And that's fine. I'm over it. But I wish, if I bought one, I would unplug that, because it's totally NASCAR style. I mean, it's like Gran Turismo 1 engine noises. It sounds so V80, even though this is a 4-cylinder, if you know what I mean. Just sounds weird, I think. But definitely would give a normal person the impression of speed and acceleration. So there's that. In terms of handling dynamics, this isn't what this car is meant to do. I just happen to be up here shooting another video. This car is meant to, you know, do exactly what we're doing on that dirt road and drive around town. And I have a POV motoring of driving this car around town. And guess what? It's awesome. The steering ratio is good. It's quick, but not too quick off center. Where it really starts to decrease its ratio is later on in the rack. So I can demonstrate this because we're stuck behind this truck. No one's behind me. This little bit of steering does pretty good. But then when you go past, look, it just ramps up and you really get a lot of front end wheel angle. So I love the steering on this car. I think this is the best steering Ford has done in any SUV product up to this point. And I'm super pleased with this. Just overall driving this car, I'm pleased with. You know, Ford's chassis engineers are some of the best, I've said. I know a lot of them, actually. And some of them have become friends. And I'm not saying this just because I know them. I just think Fords drive really well. For example, I recently took a Ford Transit up on a trip in Montana, and I specifically wanted the Transit over the Ford ProMaster because the Transit's just freaking rip. And we had that car, like that van, pegged up some mountain roads. I gotta tell you, it was awesome. And here again, they have worked their magic and they've made a capable SUV, small SUV, you know, off-road capable, very capable on a back road. So it works well here for this environment. Impressively well, actually. Like if you're on a back road, this is quick and the power is more than adequate. So super blown away with driving dynamics. I think it's firm. It's not cushy, but it's fine. It's small. You know, they can't put adaptive suspension and all this stuff in this price point. Again, this car probably stickers out for around 53, 54,000 based off of options would be my guess. Because this one's a first edition and it has some good stuff. Not everything though. Again, no adaptive cruise, no lane centering. It does have lane departure warning, which will push you back in if you touch a line. And that's fine. I have it in its most aggressive setting and it's pretty weak sauce, I gotta say. I wish this car had adaptive cruise. It has the camera for forward collision warning and all the other stuff. Just make adaptive cruise standard. So many other people are doing that. I wish that wasn't an option. Yeah, this car just makes you feel good. Take a look at the backseat room. You know, if you want a full review, this is not going to be it. I'm sure you figured this out by now. This channel is just me sharing my thoughts. But backseat room is great. Trunk space is cool. It's got this sort of rubber-lined trunk that I think is neat. This guy in the truck in front of us is ripping. So let's just foot down. Stop downshifting in manual mode. You can kind of just like overdrive the car. It's so soft and the tires are so off-roady that it doesn't matter. You can just kind of wiggle it around. You can feel ESP still cutting in even though I've turned everything off. You know, that's just the case with pretty much any Ford these days, unless it's like a GT500 where then it's truly off. It'll let you have some fun, but if you really throw the weight around, it locks you down. And really a gem of an engine. The only issue, like I keep saying, this is I think my fourth time, is the lag. Foot down. That's floored. There, now it's on boost. Yeah, that's a little bit aggravating, especially in traffic. You're just like having to keep this thing on boil. But if you just prepare for it, you put your foot down and you know to wait, then it's fine. Then you're good. Just, yeah, it's a full 1-2 and then boost. So, that's interesting. I wonder, I think they put the 3-cylinder in this car too, and I bet that would be pretty good. I'd like to try that out. Anyway, love the color, love the sizing on the interior. Love the driving dynamics. I love the looks of this car. And this is the car that, again, most people just need. You don't need the big body Bronco for 99% of people. This is more than capable enough. You still know people are going to buy the big Bronco and never take it to its full capability and do exactly what this car can do. And that's fine. People are able to buy whatever they want. I don't care what people buy. Personally, I think you buy the vehicle that's fit for the job at hand. And that this seems to fit almost any job possible. I think it's so on point with its styling. And, you know, really it just comes down to this or the big one. You're not really going to be cross-shopping, I don't think, the Jeep. I think you're either a Ford guy, you're a Jeep guy, or a Chevy guy in this sort of off-roady SUV category. And honestly, GM doesn't even have anything nearly as off-roady as this, to be honest. This is way more aggressive than, like, the Trailblazer, which is smaller. And while it's a cool car and I really did enjoy it, This is just a whole nother category above. Should Ford have come out with this first and then the Bronco like they're doing, the full Bronco, or should they have launched the full Bronco and then this? And, I think Ford may have gotten this a little backwards, in my impression. From what I see on TikTok, on YouTube, we're constantly making videos about cars. People think the Bronco is weak sauce. They're like, wow, they really screwed up the Bronco. And the answer is they haven't, because this isn't the full Bronco, like I mentioned. And people don't get that. And they should have started with the Halo product first and then gone down market. Take the Tesla approach. Model S and X and then 3 and Y. And, now everyone thinks of Bronco as sort of this small, while very cool looking and capable SUV. It's not the dream they had about it. And that's the first impression is a hard one to change. And this is why Lucid, for example, is coming out with their longest range electric car. This is why Porsche launched the Turbo S Taycan first and then brought it down market. Ford should have launched the big Bronco and then gone down market to this one. I'm sure financially this makes more sense. This car will sell 10 to 1, as it should. It's a great car. Nothing against the car. I just think people wanted to see the big, on 35-inch tire Bronco first. So what do you guys think? Do you think Ford should have gone big Bronco first and then small Bronco, or small Bronco, then big Bronco like they did? Personally, as a car enthusiast, if you're like me, it doesn't matter because the big one's coming. And so you can evaluate them as separate products like I am doing. I don't even think about the big Bronco when I drive this car. But so many people will. And that's a brand image thing that I'm not, didn't go to school for marketing, know nothing about, sort of the thinking of people and mass scale in these types of situations. I will say this guy is absolutely moving in this Ford in front of us, though. I tell you, Ford's freaking rip. You can see this, even the old Super Duty pickup truck going pretty good. Yeah, I like this car a lot. I would highly recommend this car to someone like my sister, for example, who drives a Jeep Wrangler JL. She has a Sahara 4-wheel drive. Never takes it off-road except the beach. That's it. And she's like, I'm looking at a new car. And I'm like, okay, well, Mazda CX-5 would be pretty good. And, that was such a blatant cut. I think this is the second video on this channel now where we've had someone just driving terribly on the other side of the road. And I'm like, CX-5 would be cool, but you kind of lose that rugged feeling that she loves so much. That's why she likes her Jeep, because her friends go in and it's fun. It's a lifestyle product. The Bronco Sport is literally made for her. And so I think it's going to be between the Tiguan, the CX-5, and this car right here. And again, I'm not sure how she feels about Ford products. I feel very strongly about them. We're getting coal rolled left and right here. And I think they're great, really. I think Ford has some of the best total vehicles in its lineup as a portfolio. The best driving, styling, just quality for the price, value. I really do like most of their products, and this is certainly no exception. This is one hell of a vehicle right here. Sort of everything for everyone. I'd love to see someone take a Bronco Sport like this and put like a racing suspension and braking kit on there. I think that'd be kind of neat. And then I'd love to see them built for off-road too, because I think they truly are capable. Here are some of my issues with this car before we end the video. When you drive around normally, it's mostly front-wheel drive, and occasionally if you stab the throttle, you get torque steer. And this is a four-wheel drive vehicle that's really front-wheel drive and then blends in the rear when it needs assistance. So you can see on this power meter, that's what I have pulled up here. So that bugs me a lot. Secondly, turbo lag. We've already spoken about it, don't need to reiterate. Third, fuel economy, not amazing. I tested this at 28 mpg in my 70 mile per hour highway loop. While it's better than some, like a Lexus GX 460, which is bigger and has a V8, did like 23, I think. So it's not that much better. Not at least anything you would notice in your owner total cost of ownership. That's just pennies. So I wish it did better in MPG, but it's on the off-roading tires. I get it, and it's a brick, and the Escape did pretty well. I'd love for this to be a plug-in hybrid. I think this is the perfect application for plug-in hybrid drivetrain. Now they have this in the Escape in Europe, My understanding is they all caught on fire, so it's going to be a while till we see a plug-in hybrid on this chassis, Escape or Bronco Sport in the U.S. So we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Other than that, is there anything I dislike about this car? No, I love the seating position. Makes me so happy. Part of what I judge a car is, what is its character? How does it make you feel? What's the vibe? And this is a very pleasant car to be in. I smiled the first few hours of today driving this car, and I was like, wow, I dig this thing. It's cool. People look at it. It looks nice. It's premium. Love that. I haven't really spent that much time with it. Maybe only 100 miles. But other than that, I think that's everything to say. Sound system sounds good. Love this material here on the seats, this sort of fabric-y material. Really good. And great steering. Wow. That's just impressive. For tires this bulky, this steering system is impressive. Just stuff it into the corner. Definitely understeers, but what do you expect? Well, I think that's kind of it. I'm just all about this thing. I think this is the car, and it should win all of the awards. This thing is great. So, as we end every video, full throttle. And a little send into a corner. Why not? Full limit handling. Gotta love it. See you on the next one.